know you all are eating right now, but hello, everyone. Oh, yes, that is much better. Welcome, everyone, to the Louisville Metro Human Relations Commission 60th Anniversary Juneteenth Luncheon. Yes. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Denise, and I am the owner of Denise Entertainment. My business is committed to being the link between you and what's possible. We provide entertainment for corporate and private events, and I am so excited to be here. In addition to being the owner of Denise Entertainment, I am also the Director of Learning and Creative Engagement for Actors Theater of Louisville. I am a producer. Yeah, thank you. Somebody knows Actors Theater. I'm a producer, I'm a director, I'm a singer, I'm a playwright, I'm a motivational speaker sometimes. And I also host a show on 104.7 on Saturdays at 12 o'clock called Amped Up. And I am so amped up to be here as your MC today. So tune in at 12 o'clock on Saturdays, okay? Yes. All right, so I am not going to hold you long. We're going to go ahead and get this program started. Please remember that you do have lunch in a box that you can go get and eat as we go through this program. There is also an art exhibit through those doors in the back, and we are celebrating the Black Experience exhibition. There are some local artists back there that have artwork for sale. So before you leave today, make sure that you stop by that room, and you can also get this free booklet that comes with the exhibit. All right? So I want to go ahead and bring up Ms. Girah Williams for the invocation. Girah Williams is the Chestnut Street YMCA Black Achievers Program Teen Senate Chaplain. Girah graduated from the New Albany High School and is enrolled at Bellarmine University this fall, where she will major in English. Put your hands together for Ms. Williams.
Good morning. Could everybody please close their eyes and bow their heads and join me in prayer? Loving God, we give thanks and rejoice in hard work, fun, and fellowship that our staff, volunteers, and all those unknown to us played in making this event a wonderful experience for all. May we find gladness and fulfillment in all of our successes and even in our challenges and lessons. Lord, while we are in this building, we ask you to be with us. May your angels go before us and lead the way so that we can have this day and reach home safely. Thank you for the lives that you have touched. Thank you for the lives that you have prepared for us beforehand with your words. Lord, thank you for the laughter and the wonderful time that we'll share. It is in Jesus' name we believe and pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Amen, amen. Next up, we are going to have the welcome by Ms. Verna Goatley. And Verna is the Executive Director of Louisville Metro Government Human Relations.
Good morning and welcome. Thank each of you for taking the time to attend this celebration. Our office welcomed the opportunity to be included in the Mayor's Juneteenth Commission events. The Louisville Metro Human Relations Commission began its journey March 27, 1962. The City of Louisville ordinance that created the HRC condemned racial and religious discrimination as contrary to public policy and detrimental to peace, progress, and welfare of the city. The work is as important today as it was 60 years ago, and the Commission continues to be the voice for this community, safeguarding all individuals within Jefferson County from discrimination because of race, color, religion, national origin, familial status, age, disability, sex, gender identity, and sexual orientation. In 2021, several ordinances were amended or added, which now includes lawful source of income, conviction history or arrest history, prior military service, homeless status, the Crown Act, and prohibiting conversion therapy. Again, thank you for attending this celebration and supporting the work of our office, and enjoy the program. You're in for a treat. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you so much, Ms. Burnett. Next, we're going to keep this program rolling. I would like to introduce the Central High School Gospel Choir, accompanied by Miss Angela Handley, and they are going to sing an A and B selection. Yeah, we know that about church, right? We're going Pastor Shull, what you think about that? They're going to sing 2 songs. One of them is Lift Every Voice and Sing. Please put your hands together for the Central High School Gospel Choir.
Hello, my name is Angela Handley, and this is just a portion of the choir. A lot of us have graduated, but we had to bring what we had. So we will hope and pray that what we sing is beautiful music to your ears, amen? And I'm not at church. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberties. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. We'll keep marching, fighting till the victory is won. Hold your head up, brothers, till the victory is won. Keep believing, sisters, till the victory is won. Till that day comes, let us march on till victory is won. Is won. Our next selection is titled Better is One Day. And we sing this song because we know that one day we're going to go to heaven to be judged. And we know that there's better up there. One day is better than 1,000 anywhere else. So this next song is titled Better is One Day. Better is one day in your courts. Better is one day in your house. Better is one day in your courts than thousands elsewhere. Better is one day in your courts. Better is one day in your house. Better is one day in your courts than thousands elsewhere. Better is one day in elsewhere. Better is one day, 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 better is one day.
This summer at Joe's, and this Sunday, the Louisville Jazz Initiative will be there. So please support Ken Clay and Joe's Palm Room and come out. The doors open at 4:30, show starts at 5. All right, moving on. Yes. Ken, you can give me the money you owe me after. I'm just kidding, I'm kidding. All right, next up, I would like to bring to the mic Louisville's own Mayor Greg Fischer.
Good morning, everybody. I too want to recognize Ken Clay in the Palm Room. Some of y'all have heard this before. I didn't date a lot of women, but I had a 3-part test for the women that I dated to see if I could be comfortable with them. First thing was we picked them up, sit down in the car, I put on Bob Marley music. If they didn't like reggae music, gone. Second test, go to a Chinese restaurant. And if they wouldn't at least try to use chopsticks, gone. If they passed the first 2 tests, the third test was to go to Joe's Palm Room and to see if they were comfortable hanging at Joe's Palm Room. And there's only one person that passed that test, and she's my wife, Dr. Alex Gerasimides. So I'm a big fan of the Palm Room, Ken, you know that. Well, thank you all so very much for being here today. I want to congratulate our Human Relations Commission on 60 years. And Burnett said it properly. It was the right institution at the right time. And I would say it's more important than ever. And even what it was 60 years ago was an important time in our country's history. But to act like we've had an upward trajectory of progress since 60 years ago would be misplaced. So I think the emphasis on our Human Relations Commission is more important than ever. So I want to thank Verna, I want to thank our staff, I want to thank our board for the wonderful work that they do to keep us going there. A few other thank yous. I want to thank somebody that doesn't get out very often of the office, and that is the Deputy Mayor of Louisville, Ellen Hessen. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Hessen, for all the great work that you do. And we've got a lot of Metro employees here, Water Company, MSD, the Housing Authority. If you all could stand up, you do great work on behalf of the citizens of Louisville, so we could recognize you, please, for the day in and day out work that you do. Thank you. You know, I'm a business person that just happens to be mayor right now, and a lot of people, I think, just take government for granted. You know, like it's always going to be there, but I can tell you, our whole team is about 6,000, 7,000 people that just works really hard each and every day. A whole lot of talent, and I really, really appreciate them. So, our Juneteenth Festival. It is wonderful to see the growth that we keep having every year. It would not be possible without our wonderful commissioners and our tireless chairwoman, Wanda Mitchell-Smith. So let's give it up for our commissioners and Wanda Mitchell-Smith. Thank you so much. So I have long prioritized racial equity in my administration, and we've made progress in several ways. Lots of investments, about $1.5 billion here in West Louisville. unprecedented investments in housing, Evolve 502 Promise Scholarships for every JCPS graduate now. No financial constraint for a JCPS graduate to go to college, so be sure you know that. If you hear somebody say, we can't afford to go to college, that's gone now. Evolve 502 scholarships take care of that. That is a big deal, a big deal. Our focus on health equity really paid off during the pandemic. We were one of the few cities in the world where our black and brown communities did not suffer disproportionately from the pandemic, either from infections or fatality rate. So all this focus on health equity has been a very good thing for our city. We've improved our air quality. There's a lot more list here to do. But as you all well know, I see these issues as just a down payment on all the work that needs to be done. There is a lot of work left to do. And celebrating Juneteenth is critical to countering our Commonwealth's and our country's difficulty accepting the need for a shared understanding of an appreciation for telling the full history of America. You know, you hear this, the way critical race theory is criticized and all that. Why are people so afraid of understanding the full history of our country? It's critical. And Juneteenth is a part of that critical history lesson. Because without a shared foundation and a shared understanding of our history, we not only don't know who we are, we don't know how we're going to move forward. Last month at the Fraser History Museum, I attended a truth-telling panel discussion on the history of Louisville's Black Six. As you know, these six black Americans, Louisvillians, Manford Reed, Sam Hawkins, Pete Cosby, Ruth Bryant, Robert Sims, and James Cortez, were essentially framed by the white establishment for the 1968 civil unrest around 28th and Dumanil. This was an amazing panel. The discussion in the room was rich, the air was thick with respect for the Black Six, and frustration for the injustice of their treatment permeated the room. And I wondered aloud when I was able to ask a question, knowing that the lives of the Black Six had forever been disrupted. Had they ever received an apology? An apology from the police, from the courts, from the city? Anybody? Well, much to my dismay, no apology, no settlement had ever been offered. And so while I was not mayor in 1968, I do currently represent the institution of city government. And for too long, government and its institutions have harmed many of the people they're supposed to protect and elevate, particularly Black Americans. So on behalf of the city, the institution of the city government, I apologize to the Black Six for the grievous wrongs of the government toward them. And as I thought about Juneteenth and its important role in truth-telling and the broader history of the white community and Black Louisvillians, I thought about a number of things. The horrors of Louisville as a major slave trading area, from the downtown slave pens to those sold down the river. People like Henry Bibb, the son of an enslaved woman and a state senator who escaped, was captured, and was enslaved again, and held in Louisville's city workhouse, an institution which he described as hell, before securing his freedom on the Underground Railroad. I thought of the challenges of the freed slave, the freed man, to simply establish a place in society for his family, to peacefully, safely support and provide for those he loved. I thought of William Worley, a Black Louisvillian who in 1917, won a United States Supreme Court decision that gave Black Americans the right to acquire, own, and live on property without race discrimination. But the systemic, unfair, and discriminatory housing practices, including redlining, which persisted for decades upon decades after that ruling. I thought about urban renewal and its cruel decimation of our Black business and entertainment community. I thought about Ed Hamilton and the story he always tells of growing up on the second floor on 4th Street and what a thriving district we had. It's a Black cultural touchstone of our city in the South, which swallowed the venues and voices of jazz singers like Helen Humes and Dinah Washington. I thought about Shelby Lanier and the fight he led within the Louisville Police Department and the courts so Black police officers would get a fair shake with hiring and promotion. The Wade family and their trauma, buying and selling a home in an all-white neighborhood. Activity from the police in our Black community and Black communities all over the country, from enforcing segregation, humiliation, to the tragic death of Breonna Taylor in our city. And the unacceptable and societal systems that produce racial gaps in education, income, wealth, health, home ownership, and many more. Forward movement, progress, change is often stymied without the acknowledgement of harm. That harm burrows in the psyche. It is unfinished business. It limits the realization of one's full human potential. Anger at the institutions can cause harm, and it's totally understandable. And sometimes it can be hard to see a way through. It can lead to hopelessness and despair. Yet, those that represent institutions may be hesitant to acknowledge that harm, even if they were not present at the time of the offense. But the stain of the historic harm remains. And acknowledging that stain is absolutely necessary to move forward. An apology can seem small because it costs nothing more than some well-deserved institutional humility and ownership of the past. In this case, by me, someone that just happens to sit in the seat of the institution of the mayor of our local government. I cannot erase all the injustices from the first slave ships to today. But what I can do is offer a sincere apology from me as a person, and more importantly, on behalf of the institution of the city government of Louisville. I take responsibility for the system that I've been elected to lead, both the past and the present. Police have frequently been the face of injustice toward Black communities. LMPD Chief Erica Shields and I have spoken about this many times, and in the coming weeks, she will have more to say on the history of institutional abuse of Black Americans by the police. So for now, along with this apology, I pledge to continue to fight injustice for my remaining time as mayor and all my breaths thereafter. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Mayor Greg Fischer. All right, well, we're going to keep this program going. The next person that I would like to bring up to offer their greetings is Chief Michael Meeks, and he is the Metro Office of Equity Chief. Put your hands together as he comes to the mic.
Thank you, Mayor Fischer. You know, it's not often that we get to witness history, but everyone seated here has just witnessed history in Louisville, Kentucky. Thank you, Mayor Fischer, for that acknowledgement of harm on the part of LMPD to the citizens and residents of this city. It takes heart. It takes brains. It takes a willing soul to do what you did, and we thank you. Chief Shields is here. You have a very difficult job, and we acknowledge that. We understand it. Thank you for what you do for the city and what you will do in the future. Thank you to the other chiefs that are here, all the Louisville Metro government employees. We work tirelessly every single day to do the business of the people. And thank you for coming to work every single day and doing your job. So, I am Chief Equity Officer of Louisville Metro. The Office of Equity was designed by Mayor Fischer. We are here to make sure that all the departments fulfill his vision of equity in the city. Underneath the Department of Equity is the Human Relations Commission, the Office for Women, and several initiatives, including the Lean Into Louisville initiative. You may have heard about some of our events recently. We invite you to come out to partake. We've got good quality events that go on a monthly basis, and we thank you for supporting these departments and these initiatives. If we come calling to you, just realize that we're asking for support, we're asking for financial assistance, we're also asking for your attention. Bring all of your employees out. So thank you very much for supporting our initiatives. We're here just to make Louisville a better city. That's what we're doing. So, without further ado, we've got a fantastic speaker today, Reverend Shull, and on behalf of the Office of Equity, thank you for your support.
Thank you so much, Mr. Meeks. And so now I have the honor of introducing our keynote speaker for the afternoon. Reverend Dr. Daniel Corrie Shull is the senior pastor of the Burnett Avenue Baptist Church in Louisville, Kentucky. Dr. Shull serves on the Jefferson County Public Schools Board of Education as vice chair, representing District 6. He has served on the Facilities Committee and the Behavioral Support Alternative Task Force. He has participated in Flash Dads and mentors JCPS Middle School Boys. Dr. Shull is the founder of the Teen Summit Enrichment Program, which offers a mix of academic instruction and cultural enrichment. He also serves as coordinator of an annual college tour, giving high school students the opportunity to visit college campuses and personally connect with counselors, students, and staff. Dr. Shull serves on a number of boards for community organizations. One of them is Actors Theater of Louisville, where I work. And institutions of higher education, mentors youth, and is the author of Detours to Greatness. A proponent of education, Dr. Shull holds degrees from Fisk University, Louisville Presbyterian Theological Seminary, and Colgate-Rochester Crozer Divinity School, and works as an adjunct professor for Louisville area colleges. He is the father of Daniel Harrison and Zoe Elizabeth, and he was also the first pastor of a church to hire Erica Denise Entertainment to produce a musical in his facility. So thank you so much. Please put your hands together for Reverend Dr. Daniel Corrie Shull.
I'm going to take Erica Denise everywhere I go from now on. Will you help me celebrate 60 years of the Louisville Metro Human Relations Commission, their wonderful and laudable work here in the city of Louisville, and our mayor, that apology, that acknowledgement of historic wrongs and injustices. We've been witnesses to history, and thank you, sir. We salute you for taking that stand today. Will you help me thank our mayor? I'm delighted to be here with you today. Quite frankly, I'm just glad to be around people. And COVID quarantine was a long, dark night, but we're back together again. And what better reason for us to gather than to celebrate the work of the Human Relations Commission and all of the wonderful years, the dedication, the undaunted commitment to human rights, to doing what is right, to advocating for the least of these, for ensuring that justice becomes a reality here in Louisville, Kentucky. Thank you, Ms. Goatley. Thank you, Reverend Smith. Thank you for all of those who had a part in my being here today. I know you all are looking at me and saying, oh God, they have a preacher at lunch. This cannot be good. So I promise you, I'm going to be brief. I'm going to remember what that old deacon said to his young pastor. One Sunday morning, the pastor came into the church and he had cut his face, and the deacon looked at him and said, what happened to your face? And the preacher said, well, you know, I was doing what preachers do on Sunday mornings. I was thinking about my sermon, and I cut my face. And to his chagrin, the deacon looked back at him and said, well, next time, why don't you cut your sermon and think about your face? And so I'm going to think about my face during this talk with you. But I would like to acknowledge Ms. Diane Porter, who is a tremendous advocate, the leader of our Jefferson County Public School Board. She is the lioness of public education, and she deserves our recognition and our acknowledgement today. Good to see you. Now, we're both up for re-election, so y'all remember that, all right? I won't be before you long because I actually have to be across town in about 43 minutes for an endorsement meeting because I want to be re-elected. Melissa Harris Perry, the brilliant television host, author, and professor of politics and international studies at Wake Forest University, wrote a provocative little book entitled Sister Citizen, Shame, Stereotypes, and the Stories of Black Women, in which she roots her work in the work of cognitive psychology. In that writing, she reflects on a riveting study of cognitive psychology where men and women were placed in crooked chairs that were situated in a crooked room, and then they were tasked with the responsibility of finding which way was up. It was a fascinating experiment. Some people participated in that experiment, sought to find their way up by aligning themselves with the images in that room. The only issue with that is if the images are situated in a crooked room, the images are tilted, and if you measure yourself and you attempt to use tilted images as your compass, you will never truly achieve an upright posture. Those who observed that research experiment found that some of the participants could be tilted by as much as 35 degrees, yet they reported themselves to be fully upright. However, amazingly, there were those within that study who were able to find which way was up. There was something on the inside of them that empowered them to figure out which way was up, even though they were situated in a tilted room with tilted images. And my friends, when I think about the world in which we are situated, it can best be described as a crooked room. It seems that injustice continues to gain steam. We thought that there were some matters of legislation that were stable, that were settled, that we didn't have to fight again, like women's rights. But yet those pieces of legislation, those laws, those things that we thought were settled are coming back up again. The things that my uncles and aunts marched for and they went on to live their lives. We thought that they were settled and they would never have to be revisited again. But yet here we are, fighting again for women's reproductive rights. Here we are, fighting to ensure that all children are educated regardless of their zip code, regardless of the amount of money that their family makes. Here we are, still fighting for everyone to be able to have the right to vote in these yet to be United States of America. It's a crooked room. It's a crooked room because political divisiveness continues to widen. It's a crooked room because the wealth gap continues to become more and more extreme between the haves and the have-nots. Wealthy billionaires have the expendable wealth to take a day trip to space, but yet we can't find adequate housing for the 6,000 homeless students in Jefferson County Public Schools. It's a crooked room. It's a crooked room, and the only way to make our way forward is to stand up. That's why we're here today celebrating the Human Relations Commission, because over these last 60 years, they've stood up. They stood up for black people who did not stand a fair shake. They stood up for LGBTQIA individuals who had to deal with injustices. They stood up for those who were seeking to have their voices heard through the political establishment. And we need men and women today to continue to stand up, find our way forward. We live in a crooked room, but yet you and I have something that is within us, an understanding of that which is right, an understanding of what it means to allow justice to roll down like waters and righteousness like an ever-flowing stream. We have something within us that helps us to know that the moral arc of the universe bends toward justice. We have something within us that always lets us know that wrong may seem to reign around, but sooner or later right has to triumph. We must stand up, though we may be wobbly at first, though we may have to keep adjusting in order to find which way is truly right. We can stand up. We stand up by developing a vision that transcends our present. The reality is, America has never lived up to its highest ideals, but it doesn't mean that we should stop dreaming. The reality is that there's always been a cause for black people to fight in these yet to be United States of America. But it doesn't mean that we should give up the fight and become separatists. This same country in which my great-grandmother worked on a sharecropper's farm, this same country in which my grandmother was a domestic worker, this same country in which my mother raised me and my 3 siblings on $28,000 a year, still has promise for my children. We must cultivate a vision that is compelling enough that will transcend the present realities. Then we've got to have the commitment to stand together, to cooperate together. We don't always have to agree, but since we live here, we might as well work for the flourishing of all people. In the tradition from which I stem, and in full transparency, I am a Black Baptist preacher, and I realize I'm already almost over my time limit. But there's a question that we ask in our faith tradition. It is simply, am I my brother's keeper? Am I my sister's keeper? It really doesn't matter their sexual orientation. It really doesn't matter the pigmentation of their skin. It really doesn't matter their economic strata. It really doesn't matter how much education they do or do not have. I am my brother's keeper. And I'm not free until all people are. never accomplished until all people lose their shackles. We've got to stick together. I learned this lesson. I did something. I hope this is not being streamed. I see cameras. Please don't tell my mama this. But I was with a group of friends, and they decided to just do something fun, and they talked me into going kayaking. The reason why this is a terrible thing is because I can't swim. Never learned how to swim. I grew up in a more segregated community, and you know how it is with segregated communities in the South. They don't necessarily have swimming pools in those areas, and you tend to grow up not knowing how to swim. There I am on Chesapeake Bay, looking at my friends, saying, "Come on, let's go kayaking." I wouldn't tell them I couldn't swim. I prayed. I checked my insurance policy to make sure that it was still active. Got in that kayak. They instructed us how to keep the kayak moving, and if you need to go right, you gotta row 2 times left. If you need to go left, you gotta row 2 times right. And we got out there, and we got to rowing, and a wave came. And my friend got wobbly. I said, "Hey, I can't swim. I can't go in this water." But y'all, the waves kept coming. We were way out on Chesapeake Bay looking for dolphins, incidentally, that never came. Yet, we had to row, and my friend had the audacity to get tired. Lay down their stick. And there I was, saying, "Hey, pick up your stick." We got to row. And unfortunately, they began to row on one side of the kayak, and I began to row on the other side of the kayak. And we wasn't making it far enough because we were not in sync. The only way to move the kayak forward is by both of us rowing at the same time on the same side. And if we ever got out of sync and started rowing on different sides, we risked turning the kayak over. We realized that if we were going to make it home safely, that the only choice we had was to get in sync, pay attention to our destination, and get on one accord. Louisville, if we're going to make it through the malaise that was 2020 and the racial injustices that continue to rear their ugly heads, we ain't gotta always agree, but we had better start rowing on the same side at the same time until we get back to shore. My ancestors would say, "Walk together, children, don't you get weary. There's a greater camp meeting on the other side."
Round of applause to Pastor Shull. That's the kind of message I want to hear. All right. So this is a letter from the Acting Regional Director of the Office of Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development would like to formally acknowledge the Louisville Metro Human Relations Commission's 60th anniversary. Our nation relies on legacy agencies such as yours, not only to administer civil rights laws, but also to enrich the public's awareness of their rights through education and outreach. Your steadfast commitment to ensuring fair housing for your community's citizens has been invaluable to the mission of the Office of Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity. This has been evident in the exceptional performance of your agency while participating in the Fair Housing Assistance Program. As you celebrate this milestone, also with the legacy of the Juneteenth holiday, we ask your continued support and partnership in the FHAP program. Your efforts will continue to help us eliminate housing discrimination, promote economic opportunity, achieve diverse and inclusive communities, and enhance public understanding of fair housing policies and laws. We thank you and look forward to continuing our partnership. Signed, Daniel Weaver. Congratulations, team. Also, we have a Senate resolution, and it is to the Louisville Metro Human Relations Commissions in honor of their 60th anniversary Jubilee, Juneteenth luncheon. It is recognized as honored as a worthwhile event taking place at the Kentucky Center for the African American Heritage, celebrating June 19th, 1865, when Major General Gordon Granger came to Galveston, Texas, to inform a reluctant community that President Abraham Lincoln had freed the slaves 2 years earlier, and to press local residents to comply with this directive. On June 19, 2020, Louisville Mayor Greg Fischer signed an executive order declaring Juneteenth an official holiday in the city of Louisville, followed by Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear's signing of a proclamation to make Juneteenth an official state holiday in the Commonwealth. The Commission's luncheon will celebrate Mayor Fischer's Juneteenth Jubilee and will examine 60 years of civil rights, marking the 6 decades that have passed since the Commission was created by city ordinance on March 27, 1962. At its inception, the Commission condemned racial and religious discrimination as contrary to public policy and detrimental to the peace, progress, and welfare of the city. Today, the Louisville Metro Human Relations Commission continues to serve as the voice and conscience of the Louisville community, safeguarding all citizens of Jefferson County from discrimination because of race, color, religion, national origin, familial status, age, disability, sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, lawful income, source of income, conviction, arrest, history, military status, and/or homeless status. Inasmuch as the 60th anniversary, the Juneteenth luncheon is a vital opportunity for citizens to come together to educate themselves on the purpose, mission, and work of the Commission, while celebrating the Civil Rights Movement and all it has accomplished in the past 60 years. This outstanding event is recognized by the members of the Kentucky State Senate as one that is substantial in importance, and on the motion of Senator Gerald A. Neal, is hereby deemed this honorable body worthy of recognition. And it is signed by the President of the Senate and also Senator Gerald Neal.
Thank you again, Mr. Meeks. All right, we are coming close to the close of this program, but before we have our presentations, I have one more shameless plug. So, in addition to managing the entertainment for Joe's Palm Room, I also manage the entertainment for Dasha Barber Restaurant. Their new location is on Main Street, across from Stevie Ray's, and so on the weekends you can come see a band. So make sure you go support Dasha Barber. All right, y'all can clap. Okay. Y'all hire my business because we need EricaDeniseEntertainment.com. All right. So we are going to bring up the staff of the Human Relations Commission.
This is my small team, but we get it done. I want to say thank you to the people that did this work before me, Kelly Watson, Gwen, John Johnson. Y'all made it possible for me to do this. We have a couple of recognitions that we would like to give to some of our past and present commissioners. Some were not able to be here due to traveling and vacationing and things of that sort. Help me out. Where we gonna start? Why don't I just get all the commissioners to come on up here? All of you all have something. What we had done is put together a little certificate celebrating 60 years of civil rights. Louisville Metro Human Relations Commission Certificate of Appreciation will be awarded to our past and present commissioners. We have Reginald Glass, Charles Lanier, Don Wilson, Marie Dever, Andrea Houston, Linda Berry, Loretta Hayden, Miss Rondell Smith. Me and her mom went to high school together. And Alexandria Martindale. It's because of these people here that we are able to do the work that we do. So thank you all for your support. When I come calling, I expect to get that support, okay? All right? And you know I will. Thank you all for being here. I promised people would get out of here before 1 o'clock, and I think this is the end of our program. So thank you all so very much for being here. Please participate in the other Juneteenth activities that will be taking place the remainder of the week. And be careful, be safe. Love you all.